my name is Florian Kohler, also known as Venom. Today I wanted to introduce you a new tutorial series covering the basics of pool. Joining me here is Jamilette, and for the first lesson we're gonna go over how to play pool properly. So in my opinion, to play proper pool, you need three major things: a good bridge, a solid stance, and a very good stroke. The first, probably the most important one, is your bridge hand. So there's a couple different bridge. We got a closed bridge. That's number one. So what happens in a closed bridge, you're gonna put your palm on the table, kind of spread your finger. So the thumb, the second finger, and the index, they're gonna be all together. You're gonna touch at some point, and you're gonna circle the cue. So it's not necessarily the easiest to learn, but once you have it, it's a pretty solid bridge and you can put a lot of spin, but we'll go together in the next lesson on that. The other option would be an open bridge. So open bridge is a little easier to teach. So what happened here, so you're gonna put your whole palm on the table. The one I use most commonly for beginners is what I call the spider bridge. So kind of doing like the Spider-Man sign. Let's put two fingers here, the two middle one here, then spread around and then put your thumb up like that. And once this is on the table, it's a very stable bridge, and you can see the cue just groove right in between your thumb and the top of your hand right here. So this is very solid, very easy to do. Now there's several different variations in all those, so you can close your bridge high up or lower, and then you can do a lot of things like that. Then the open bridge, same thing. You can put all your fingers on the table, close it there, even higher up. We'll go into details over the next few lessons. But mainly what you got to do right now is open bridge, closed bridge. So that's every time you're in the middle of the table. Now when you're gonna go and your cue ball is on the rail, that's gonna be a little more of a problem. So if you're a little bit off the rail, the first rail bridge, how I call it, is very easy to do. You're gonna put the cue down, just two finger here and put your thumb inside and kind of just wrap it around. I'm gonna go here so you can see. So just like that. So this is very stable. It works great, sometimes better than if you have an open bridge or closed bridge in the middle of the table. And then you have probably the most difficult one. It's also a rail bridge, but when the ball is frozen to the rail. So I'm gonna do my bridge here. So this is an open bridge I'm gonna use, but I'm gonna rest the fingers on the side of the table like that. It takes a little getting used to it, but it's also a very solid bridge once you get used to it. So that would be what you really need to start getting into pool. Now the next thing really is your stance. It's actually pretty easy. So the number one thing to do is you're gonna back up from the table a little bit. So let's say you're a couple feet away from the table and you're gonna kind of line up your shot before you even go into position. So you're here, and then I'm gonna put my left foot here and I'm stepping into the shot. All right, and that is naturally your position. So to sum this one up, you're gonna have your front foot a little bit bent, a little flex there, and it's gonna be at an angle. I mean, some people have more or less on an angle. It's not a major deal. The big deal is probably have this leg that's kind of straight with the foot parallel to the table, approximately, right? In this case. Of course, if you're on an angle, it can be parallel to the table, but in this case, since we're straight, it's about as perfect as it gets. So I'm gonna do it again, come into the shot, bend in, just like that. All right, so this is the proper stance, cue on the side. You don't want to do that, so you don't want to put your feet together, that is uncomfortable. You don't want to do this leg up and bend the other one, that's also uncomfortable, I can do it. There's a few things like that, and also you never want to be like this. I mean, as much as it looks normal sometimes, it is very difficult, because this leg is gonna go in your way and you're gonna hit it with your hand. It's something you want to avoid as much as possible. So again, come from step behind, step into the shot, down there. Now that you're there, a few things you gotta think of is your head too. So you can stay approximately here, which is pretty good, but you can go lower if you can. So if you go lower, you're gonna use your chin as a guide too, and that's pretty good. But of course, if it hurts or if it's not comfortable for you, depending on how tall you are, you're gonna go up a little more. It's no big deal. Your left arm should be approximately the way it is here. I mean, you can have it pretty straight, but it's not comfortable. So you just want to have a little bend in it, not too much bend because that's not comfortable, same way. So you just, kind of find your way, find where you're comfortable. Once you got all that, now the most important part is going to be your stroke. Every pool cue is a grip, so this is basically where you're supposed to hold the cue. So if you go into cue, you're gonna look for the balance point, which is about right here, right? So if you were to hold the cue at the balance point right here, your cue would just kind of, you know, it would be not comfortable. So basically you're gonna go into here, into there, and that would be for most of the shots where your hand's gonna be. Now if you have a long shot, for example, you're gonna put your backhand a little bit further. It's gonna help you to aim a little more. But really, you really don't wanna be too close because that is not good for you. Now once you get that, the next big mistake for people who don't really know how to play pool is they have a tendency to really grab the cue really tight and hold it and try to make sure it doesn't go away. That is not the point. So what you wanna do is have a very loose grip, and I really use 2, maybe 3 fingers to hold the whole cue, the entire thing. So you can look at it. When I shoot, it's all I'm gonna do. And if these fingers, you can see they're here, they're never entirely grabbing the cue, because if you're gonna grab the cue, whenever you're gonna stroke it, you're gonna turn it one way or another, and you're gonna miss the ball. So you really don't want that. So try to limit as much as possible. The last big thing is basically your stroke. So the pendulum in the arm and the shoulder. So what happened here is you want your wrist in line with your elbow. So kind of like that, right? So you don't want to do that too much because it's not comfortable. You don't want to do that because it's going to make you miss. So you kind of want to be straight as much as possible. This in line. And the next thing is people always think you really have to use your shoulder a lot. And that is not what you want to do. You want to try to be as stable, as straight as possible. So you're going to try to move as much as possible, just the elbow. It's okay to move the shoulder a little bit, but you don't want to have too much movement because it's going to cause you to miss. So now that I explained all that, we're gonna go over a couple drills that you could do from home or from your pool and just test yourself. Okay, so number 1 drill for me that when I really start to learn pool to just shoot straight was the bottle test. It's very classic, you know. It looks easy to just shoot a ball straight like that. But once you get into details, you know, it's a little harder than you think. So what you're gonna have to do is grab a bottle. It's basically a normal bottle, you know, you can find anywhere. Just make sure it's slightly bigger than the tip of your cue. So my tip here is 13 millimeters, so it's slightly bigger. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna put yourself in the position, in your good stroke, in your good stance. And you wanna go put your tip inside the bottle, just like that, right? And you're gonna go back and forth, practice stroke, practice stroke, practice stroke. The goal of the drill is try to not touch the edge of the bottle, basically. So you wanna go as deep as possible and you follow through inside the bottle like that. So we're just gonna do it again. So now, that was, you know, pretty easy here. I'm gonna try to go further, just like that. I'm still pretty good. Here we go, I'm gonna try further. Oh, you can hear it. I just touch it, and let's try to really go far. There we go, and that's when it's getting really hard. But once you manage that, that means your whole stroke is in line. That means your shoulder is in line. That means, you know, everything is basically working for you. And you know, if you do that a little bit, it doesn't take very long. You're gonna get a lot more confidence in your stroke. Now the next drill I have, so you're gonna have to buy a little item. It's a pretty cheap item you can find on PoolDawg. It's what we call the third eye stroke trainer. So you just clip it to your cue like that, right? And I'm gonna grab a ball right here. So basically it's almost the same thing. So the only difference is this one is gonna give you the lateral damage too. So you're gonna try to go inside, you know, the ball, just like that, right? And now you got this little weight here, and you know, if you do something wrong in your wrist, it's gonna move a little bit like that. So I'm gonna try to do a good shot. All right, so that's pretty good, it stays pretty in line. And now let's try to do, you know, exaggerate a little bit the mistake. So let's say I'm gonna do this, and you know, this happens. So obviously I exaggerate, which is why I missed the ball and everything, but this little device here, if you stay straight in and when you shoot it stays straight in, that means you're pretty good. And of course, if you don't hit the edge, perfect. So I think in my opinion, those 2 drills are really important to master a good stance, a good stroke, and a bridge when you start. And if you can manage that, we can go to the next level. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for the basics. I hope you can practice. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, and for all your pool needs, make sure to check out PoolDawg.com.